All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol AAL, American Airlines Group, Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So, American Airlines Group has had a lot of volatility, and it had a spike earlier in the year due to, obviously, the good news that there was a bill passed that was giving them a stimulus and so forth of billions of dollars, and that we were reopening and that flights could probably start again. I mean, there was a lot of things going on around this time, creating that catalyst of that growth. But American Airlines has been in a sideways direction, up and down, up and down. And one of the most important numbers right now, recently, in the last 2 months, was 1526. So I'd write that down. That is one of the most important numbers that the bulls need to break through. And the lowest point after that high and then sideways direction, 1121. Write those two numbers down, because if 1121 gets crossed, this could be on its way down to newer lows. And obviously way up here at $15 and some change, if that gets broken through, this will be on its way to newer highs. So let's zoom in on what's important for this next coming week and what we're seeing here in the chart. One thing I'm noticing is that it's very volatile. It jumps fairly quickly up and then it drops really quickly down between 50 cents to $1 almost every other day. And if not, it jumps up and down 20 cents, 30 cents. And there's a lot of unstableness. Like, there is no stability on this whole entire ticker symbol and chart in the last couple of months. So people are just jumping in, getting out due to the fear, the uncertainty. And it just depends on what type of plays they're doing. But when you see it constantly happening, whether it's a couple cents or 20 to 50 cents to $1 happening consistently every 2 to 3 days, 4 days, that means that everybody's riding the same wave, or at least the ones that have caught on and they're watching this, that they're doing the same thing, and their volume of shares add up to these big differences. I mean, this hit a high here of $14 and then it hit a low of almost 11. That's a $3 difference. And there's people, I mean, probably even shorting in these moments, making it even worse to go lower and so forth. So there's a lot of volatility I'm seeing here, and instability due to uncertainty and fear. That's one of the biggest things that drives the market. Uncertainty and fear in the downward direction, and what drives the market up is hope, innovation, and excitement, right? And speculation of great news. So right now, people are jumping into these airline stocks, but uncertain because there's not much flying going on, but yet the market is making it move up and down by news and also creating excitement for investors through different things that the company is trying to either innovate in or plan or make themselves attractive to the market, or just news. Really, news is probably the biggest driver here of this particular sector and type of stock, which is an airline stock. But let's jump in and see here what's important for Monday. So the resistance level. This is not something that the bulls can just hang out and say, we don't have to break it right away. Let's just hang out sideways. The 50-day moving average won't catch up to us. Well, if the bulls don't break the resistance, which is 1337, by default, if this was to continue in a sideways direction, this would actually end up crossing the stock, and the 50-day moving average would be here, right? In this area. What a terrible circle, excuse me. It will be in this area right here, and the stock's price will probably be like right here. So now you're in bearish territory. Once this 50-day moving average is actually above, you're in bearish territory, and as long as the stock is above it, you're in bullish territory. And that happens by default over time. Every time the ticker symbol is moving sideways, this is actually moving closer to it. It might not move to it right away because it actually kind of moves sideways with it, but there's a point where it'll just cross it, and then the stock will actually cross it, and they'll end up below it, and this will end up above it. Now, as of right now, for the bulls to maintain control, maintain momentum that they've created to break through the 50-day moving average, and obviously it leveled off here at 1325, they need to break the resistance. This is the highest point before this slight fall and leveling off. which is 1337. If that's accomplished, obviously where they got rejected twice, which was up here at 1348, the bulls need to break through 1348 to hit newer levels of highs, hit new resistance levels, and move further away from the 50-day moving average in an upward direction. But before getting there, 1337 does need to be broken through and has to be turned into a support so that the bulls can continue their rally and move further away from the 50-day moving average, again, in an upward direction. So I want to emphasize that they have to do that. The bulls have to break through that. Now, the 50-day moving average is 1323. That lets us know on what side of the chart we're in. We're slightly in bullish territory. And if that gets crossed in a downward direction, we are now in bearish territory. So that right now is the most important indicator here. We're really close to it. And the tug of war is going to be interesting on Monday. Now, there's two things I want to talk about. This is the support level, which is the lowest point, right? And slightly highest when it recovered before this run and reaching these highs and then leveling off. So 1297 is super important. I'd write that number down. That point is a great point of reference for any investor to keep in mind, but that's pretty far away from the 50-day moving average to have, a choice to make or a decision to make. So I want to narrow this down as much as possible. So 1297 is the true indicator here of this hitting newer lows and newer support levels. So don't just block that off. I'd write that number down. But I'm also going to talk about the nearest support level in this sideways movement, which is right here after the 50-day moving average gets crossed. That's 1317. 1317 is the lowest point in this sideways movement after leveling off. If 1317 does get broken through, that gives any investor and all investors a sense of direction. Is this going deeper into bearish territory? How quickly is it moving away from it? Because this is actually still a point where the bulls can actually reappear and bring this one back up. So this support level here is just an indicator of how quickly is this getting deeper into bearish territory. But the bulls can still reappear anywhere here and bring this one back up over the 50-day moving average. So 1317 is an important number, but again, the true support levels down here at 1297 that will indicate this has moved further away from the 50-day moving average in a downward direction, and this could be on its way down to newer lows and newer support levels. So keep that in mind. But 1317, depending where you entered and where you're at in the chart, that is a key indicator of letting you know that this might be on its way down to newer lows. And I would pay close attention to how quickly this is getting closer to $13, because at $13, you're a couple cents away from the true support level down here. So keep that in mind. But also there could be a recovery at that point by the bulls to start to bring this one back up and bring through the 50-day moving average, because that's where that tug of war will be interesting and also important to pay very close attention to. So I hope you guys found this video helpful and informative. Pay close attention to those cues, write those numbers down, and if you are a first-time viewer and investor and feel encouraged or inclined to subscribe, please do so. Click on the bell to not miss a single video that I post by turning on all notifications so you'll be up to date on every single chart analysis. Share this with your friends and community. Don't forget to hit the like button and let me know you watch this video. And thank you guys so much for watching. Let's make some money.